But
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here tonight. We're going to have a good conversation on a couple of different fronts. One is we're going to revisit with folks from our collective marketing committee that have been focusing on how we communicate what we're doing with arts and culture in Roanoke, Virginia. And that they've got a good update, and we're getting excited about a coming event. And so we're going to hear from Aaron Kelderhouse and Sonny Nelson about that, and I'll get us launched off on that conversation. And then we're going to talk about the mural front, because Rachel Ann's here, and she is in this celebratory mood. She just did wrap up her mural, and we're going to talk about all the things that are yay! We're going to talk about all things mural, really with a perspective of how they fit into what we're doing big picture in Roanoke. And in fact, I was out today with some folks from Roanoke Times, and they were with Katrina down on 10th Street, looking at her mural today, and we were talking about that very topic. And you know, they're happening so fast, I can't even keep track of them. And I should be able to keep track of them, right? That's probably just age. And but John Murrell is going to lead us through a little conversation with that. It's gonna be casual and fun, and we'll all get caught up in the same space and have a good conversation. And with that, I'm going to share the screen. And wow, you're still not late because the bells are still ringing.
I have a question about the mural thing. When is the time for that?
Oh, yeah, we'll have a whole, that'll be actually a big part of tonight. But first, we're gonna dive into our collective marketing piece, and if everybody can see the shared screen, I'm going to just make our window so that we can see everybody a little better. There it is. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting situated. All right, so to step back a little bit, you know, in 2011, we released an arts and cultural plan in the community, and that took maybe probably spent a year and a half developing that. We're going to be developing a new arts and cultural plan together in 2025, the whole community. This is not the city's plan, this is the community's plan. And we had a big community-wide approach in 2010 or so, but it's going to be a lot different this time, I think, because we're working in a whole completely different way. John Cornthwaite, who's on the call, he's going to be chairing that committee. It's going to be a community committee. He's chairing that and helping design the process for that. And I just wanted to touch base and look at these building blocks very quickly. We had 3 building blocks then that we said all across, the stakeholders and partners in the community, that we were focused on creating a vibrant region that had a healthy economy. We wanted to create livable communities and strong neighborhoods. And we wanted to focus on what the arts do for us individually. So on education and lifelong learning at all stages of life, and having access hey, have a good night. To what the arts can do for us. And so those are were the 3 building blocks before. I'm not sure that it'll have the same structure, but I do want to point to kind of a whole variety of goals. And we love arts for a lot of reasons, but we were thoughtful and had a big work plan. We accomplished about 75% of it under that plan. And after we talked last time, we had Aaron and Sonny here, we were thinking, oh yeah, in our mind, we're thinking as we're organizing to do all that work, we've got all these stakeholders and everybody's on the same page. But it's not true, right? I mean, it's hard to get everybody on the same page. And we're meeting every Tuesday night. We're really thinking about how the arts make us a stronger community. And we're doing it with a social justice lens. And not everybody's taking that approach. And that's okay, because like we said, the arts can do a whole lot for us. But after we had that conversation, we went back and said, okay, let's just think a little bit about who some of these stakeholders are. And we have them from artists and creators, arts organizations, and then other partners in the community. And this was just one rough framework to think it through. And on the artists and creators side, we've got people who are in the room with us now, virtually and in real space. Artists, makers, creatives, culture bearers. We want to take a really broad definition of who's an artist. We've got creative sector businesses and innovating businesses. So entrepreneurs who are out there making things happen through the arts and creativity. And then arts organizations, we've got, less formal organizations, kind of loose associations. We've got groups like the Potters Guild. We've got cooperative galleries, networks of artists. We've got the photographers who go out and sketch Roanoke. We've got lots of different ways artists are organizing now, which is super cool. Then we've got like very structured nonprofit arts organizations and cultural organizations. And those folks have been meeting too. They meet every other month. We fund a lot of them through the city's formal granting program. And Aaron and Sunny have been, they're part of that marketing task force that kind of started through that group, where they said, let's get some money together and see what we can do. And so that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Additionally, as we're doing that, we've got those neighborhoods and communities that we've been focused on a lot through our programs that we've been doing through the resident artists and also through our artist action grants. And then we've got other associations and networks and like groups like, you think about a neighborhood association that we partner with, or if you think about some of the folks who are focused on local food movements or groups that are organized around something else, but there is an intersection with the arts. Then additionally, we've got formal community development partners like business development folks, the Small Business Development Center, et cetera. And then our folks like the Virginia Tourism Corporation or Visit Virginia's Blue Ridge or other marketing and tourism based folks. And even kind of city marketing pieces too that we work with. And groups like aspects of the city, like Parks and Recreation, when we go to them and say, hey, help us use Elmwood Park and promote something. So we've got lots of partners around the table. And we realized as we started to do this next arts and cultural plan that we've got to have everybody kind of working together on the same page. And in a really terrific alignment of things, we've got the arts and cultural organizations that have come together and said, hey, we've got a message to deliver and we can deliver it collectively. We can help the community understand what arts and culture is doing and help them know about offerings out there. And we can build energy in our community through arts and culture. And with that, I want to turn it over to Aaron and Sunny for a little update. And then Shalene's on that committee, and I see her, she's popped on now too. So we'll turn it over to Aaron, Sunny, and Shalene, and we'll talk about our next steps with that.
Thanks, Doug.
Who wants to, let's see, I'm gonna try and advance this. There you go.
Aaron?
Oh, wow. I updated the slideshow, by the way.
Oh, you want me to get it somewhere else?
No, this is good. This is good. And thank you for that, Doug. Especially that I'm gonna go a little off script. Not that there's a script. There's not a script, guys. That's gonna be obvious now. But as you shared that about the 3 pillars, like I personally realized that, like, I think why I've been so passionate about this work is because part of me fits in all those pillars. Because like I'm a creator and like I look for that connection and I look for how that lives in Roanoke, and I'm very proud of that. And I'm hoping to, like, I just now found out about the Sketch Roanoke thing. I didn't know that was a thing. And I'm like so excited to like, that's going to be my thing I can do now. Enjoying that. But, you know, my work with Jefferson Center, I'm also this organization that is a part of, you know, bringing artists in and contributing in that way and curating art in the area. And I'm someone who like just wants to enjoy and appreciate the rich arts and culture community in our area. And I want to see all that happen. And I think that might not have been when I started here, but that's what's kept me going and made me excited about this and made me passionate about it because it's connecting all those parts. And it's, you know, as obvious as it is that like arts and culture is alive and thriving in Roanoke, it has felt a bit, as far as communicating it, it's felt a bit segmented, and it's felt like it's, you know, there's got to be a better way we can all do this together. You know, even though we all do have our own parts and places in those things, like we want to celebrate it together and come together. So that's to me the heart of what's behind all this work. And this idea of creating something that we can help communicate and connect those people, all those people, the artists, the organizations, and then the people that just really love art and are so happy to have it in our community. This is our effort to do that. And it's here. That's where we're at. and and we've been working on that for a year and a half now, just trying to like listen to the community, listen to people, listen to organizations, and like, what's this look like? What's it need to be? How does this actually function? You know, it's a great idea. What's it look like? And it's here is real now. It's feeling very real because we have this great opportunity provided for us generously from Go Outside Festival to have this presence. We've been building this identity, this idea, and we were like, okay, well, what's it look like? How's it come to life? And this is basically our way of unveiling that and committing to it. And so we have this opportunity to have a presence at Go Outside Festival as representing Roanoke's arts and culture, which is an amazing opportunity because typically they're just about celebrating the outside and like the amazing things that are available
He's in
here.
a chair, so
What's that?
I think somebody was off of mute.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, and they initiated this actually. You know, they saw this um I don't know, this life coming up and like embracing of the arts and culture and like, well, this is part of Roanoke too, and we wanted to invite us to be a part of it. So this is our chance to do that, and we have this identity that this kind of umbrella that pulls together those parts, the individual artists, the organizations, and the people that want to be connected to that. And this is our chance to do that. So we've been given this space and we have this identity and we're pulling it all together. We can go to the next slide now. You know, this is a festival, so this is representative. It's not the final product, but we're actually very excited about the final product. And when I said it's real as in like we've ordered these things and we're paying for them and they're coming. We have the funds for them. So we're gonna have a presence of 2 10x10 spaces that have been donated to us by Go Outside Festival. It's all going to have that it's here look and feel. And this is the place for us to represent you guys as our local artists and all the artists in our community, the organizations the things that are happening now and in the future, and just celebrate that together. So we're looking, and they may talk about this more, but as far as how you can be engaged with this, because that's how this works, is we want everyone to be engaged with it. We want you to share what you're giving, what you're offering, and be able to present it to the community. This is our space to do that. And we're doing that with individual artists and organizations. And we're also going to have, so one 10 by 10 space is doing that. The other one is this going to be this great interactive, engaging art. We're going to have a huge canvas that we're inviting people as they are in the festival to be a part of and help create something together with paint, and participate in that. We're going to be taking photos. We're going to, we're inviting you all to share flyers, share posters, share, business cards, anything that you can to like share and help us like embrace what's happening in this community, the very active arts and culture in this community. So this is our chance of making this real, and starting to pull all these pieces together. Go to the next slide. And like, we all want to be walking billboards to that. So, and as we work together, there's been this idea that we're all of us here in this meeting, and that's been a part of this conversation. We're creating this everyday place we want to be. And so we're making these shirts for us all to wear, and we're making them available. I'll let other people that are more qualified to speak to how that happens follow up. But our idea is this is something to help us embrace that and build this identity, build this momentum of like this collective place to look and see and celebrate the arts and culture in Roanoke. So that's going to be part of, so we're going to have the booth, we're going to have the tents, we're going to have the tables, we're going to have things to hand out to share with people. We're going to have the interactive art space, and we're going to have t-shirts that we'll be wearing and sharing, and with anyone that's going to be celebrating this with us. And in the next slide, this is the other thing that's going to launch at the same time as this, is the first stage of our online presence of this, because it's one thing to shout it all out, but we want to point people to something. The first stage of this is basically a hub. It's going to be a place where we can point to artist directory, we can point to events calendar, we can point to news that's happening. We can start building one place that people can go to and find out about what's happening, what's real, and what's here in the Roanoke arts and culture community. We have some amazing, I think very doable next stages that we're going to be building off of this. But the idea is that the it's here identity, like that's the thing people will be able to go to just participate in, whether they're an artist or an organization or someone that just enjoys and celebrates the arts. It lets them participate and know how to engage in what's happening here and now and support it and encourage it. And we think this is like a really special time in our community, that all these things are coming together. This energy is coming together. There's this momentum here. And it's a really special thing to be a part of, and we're excited to extend that and like encourage you all to be a part of it too. And that's why we're here. That's why we're going to be at Go Fest, and that's why we're doing all of this. Does that make sense?
Sonny, you want to add anything? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, thought I hit the button. Aaron, that was beautiful. Absolutely, I echo everything he said. And it's a great opportunity for local artists to get involved as well, because as we build out this website, we're going to start pulling assets like photos, videos, things like that, to be able to be truly representative of the arts in our community. So Doug, I'm going to send you over probably later tonight or tomorrow the link where we can start collecting all these photos and videos. So if you guys have those that you would be willing to share with us, then we can, add them to the website. We can feature, as many people as we can just to show that wide breadth and depth of the arts that we have in Roanoke. So that's one thing that I think, might be important to point out in addition to what Aaron said.
Thanks, Sunny. Shalene.
Hey y'all, sorry if it's dark where I am. I'm in my car. I just got out of a meeting. Can you hear me okay?
We sure can.
Okay. So yes, I'm really excited about this opportunity as well, but I'm also excited about this how it feels like it's just the greater arts and culture ecosystem. Like it's all of us kind of paddling in the same direction and being our own voice. Will you, everyone on this call is invited and needed to help volunteer for Go Outside Fest, the Go Fest. And we would love for you to sign up to join, and everyone on this call gets a shirt. And no matter if you're able to volunteer or not, but we would love to have anyone and everyone here sign up. I will filter that. We're going to filter the sign up through a Google form, and Doug will communicate that to you. But it'll be a fun time, and just extending that. Volunteer slots will be 2-hour time increments, and so be on the lookout for that. The other thing is, I don't want to use the word collateral, but it's flyers, it's posters, it's information about things that you're doing. Do you have an art show coming up, or do you have a website where you want to have a QR code there? We'll have it at the table. We'll have a huge array of stands where we can just showcase a lot of local artists, like ways to find where you're making your stuff, events you have coming up. So again, this will come through you, Doug, communications from Doug on how to get those materials to us to include in this in the tent, in the 2 tents. So those were the 2 things I wanted to share. Yeah, am I missing anything?
Yeah, I'll add in, Aaron's created a really nice looking folder. And, not everybody wants a folder. I love a folder though. But the idea is that when people come up, we're just going to have real conversations with them and find out what they're interested in and what they're doing. Everybody is creative, and they're somehow they don't want to say, oh, I don't really do anything. And then you're like, oh, and they let's say, well, what do you sew? Like, oh yeah, well, I've been quilting for 20 years, and I've, and they just sometimes they won't share it that way. But if we find out kind of where their passion point is, and then how they fit into our community, then we can go, oh, look, we've got this organization, or here's this artist over here, and put it in the folder and give it to them. But that folder gives it that collective sense of energy, and really, it is here right now. Aaron said it. He said it's a very special time, and it really is. There are things lining up that have not lined up before, and we've been asking some of these same questions for. I've been asking like part of the conversations for 18 years, and we've not seen it like this. There is a real opportunity. But it is that spirit that we are creating every day the place we want to be. Creating, it's through the arts, so through arts and culture. So we're creating every day. It's just like, that's a guarantee. So if you live here in Roanoke, you can find some way to engage and help create the life you want, the business you want, the friends you want. I mean, we do that every day, right? We're creating our community, but we're creating the place we want to be. And the murals that we're going to talk about tonight, people feel that. That's why the reporters want to talk about it. That's why, people they're excited by it. They feel it. The Bus Roanoke effort, that's why that got so much, because they felt it was accessible.
Talking about things lining up that have not lined up before. GoFest approached me about bringing street performers up, from out of town. And Aaron, I would like an opportunity, or whoever's available for this. I have, so I crashed GoFest. I performed there uninvited. I just took over a street corner, 3 years ago for the first time. I was on tour in Texas the year in between, but a friend of mine came up from Florida, because I was like, this is too good a foot traffic festival for no one to work. So he came up and did it, and we did it together last year. And George Gilbert is coming back up. He's done his magic show with a teleporting pineapple that goes from one locked case to another locked case, in 35 something countries at this point, and he'll be here for that. And in addition, I've booked for my friend Blue to come up from Key West, who does a 9-foot unicycle act juggling torches, which is a combination you don't see all the time. I would like to figure out an opportunity where I can get these jet fuel combustion engines of generating a lot of attention to direct that attention after their shows to this project. So we can figure out, like, based on where your tent is to where they might be performing that day, these kind of things. Cause I still need to do a site walk with the people over at GoFest about that, especially with noise pollution from food truck generators and that kind of thing. If we can do a site walk at some point soon, so I can start organizing how I'm gonna get, because it doesn't take a lot for a street performer who's gathered a crowd of 150 to 300 people to go, oh, by the way, after you give me $5, go over there. So I'd love to figure out how we can do that, because that's a good way to light a match.
I feel that. I feel the match. That's really good. And exciting. And I think we can organize that. I don't know if I'm the person to organize that, but I think
We'll get it.
Pedro Soleil with Southwest Virginia Ballet had a very similar thought about having artists come out and demonstrate at the booth. So, to your point earlier about really bringing attention and getting people excited, maybe having those demo signups in addition to volunteer signups might be a way to.
And even that, just that connection point where, oh yeah, like they walk by and there's somebody who just saw the performance and they get a chance to talk to them. Yeah, that's always, that feels real.
Yeah, like if we just, like, even if it's just like me and the other 2 idiots in bright colored costumes that weekend are hanging out there, when they see me in my top hat, they always want to say, hey, I saw your show. And it's like, have a conversation about it. Oh, by the way, sign up for this newsletter for info on what's going on around here, or whatever it is. That would work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so we got a few weeks to get it pinned down and figured out. We've got, we were at the meeting on Thursday with the arts cultural organizations, and we passed out a paper sign up, and they started filling up really fast. We kind of grabbed it and said, okay, well, let's save some spots for our individual artists. Eventually we'll add in arts commission members as well. But we said, oh, how many people do we need at the booth at a time? And we're kind of growing it. And we really do want it, once we fill up the spots, we also want it to be a little bit of that drop-in space. So anybody, when you're down at GoFest and you're coming through, just stop by and let's talk for a bit. And if you're standing there, we'll be able to like make these connections, right? Because that's how the world or the universe works. Any quick questions before we move on to murals or anything else we need to hit on this?
I have another question about It's Here.
Yeah.
In addition to a website and all of the digital marketing, which is excellent, numbers still show that flyers, brochures are the best way to reach people. I know, Beta, you did an experiment where you did only digital marketing, and it affected the rate of ticket sales. And I regularly tour the state and the region, and I'll find brochures at every rest stop for Stanton, for Christiansburg, for Daleville, for Danville. Very rarely do I find brochures in rest stops, even 100 miles from Roanoke, for Roanoke. So is there a method of moving this, it's here into like a Roanoke specific thing. Not a Virginia map that mentions Roanoke in a paragraph, but this Roanoke, Virginia specific, it's here into those rest stops, into those truck stops, into those hotel brochure counters.
Yeah, I tell you, and VVR, Visit Virginia's Bluebirds, has experimented some with that, and they've done some takeovers even of the welcome areas and such,
Mhm.
where we've actually been invited to say, okay, what's your arts and culture presence with it? And we frankly weren't prepared.
Okay.
See, and now if we have this, we're gonna say, and we can actually put pressure on them and say,
Yeah.
we don't need to do everything, but here, help us get now that we've developed the product for you, you've got money to help us get this out there.
Yeah.
And we're gonna put pressure on BVR to help us do that.
Yeah.
So, and I will say, part of the plan too is that we're gonna have like a paper, well, it's gonna be like a push pin board behind one of the booths that we're gonna plaster with with posters and such, and with paper media, and then put the pictures of people as we take them with the fancy little instant camera, and put those pictures up there alongside the poster images. So people are seeing themselves as part of that, along with the artist and the organization.
Great.
And yeah, so, but yeah, I think we do need to go paper. I think COVID would hit us with some of that too. We don't even do as much paper as we used to. We need to.
I mean, sometimes you're just waiting on, someone like to walk the dog and you pick up something and you're like, well, this crab festival looks great. And you go to the crab festival.
I stop every time when I run, every time I stop at the Grandin and the co-op, and I look at the boards.
Mhm.
And I was just on vacation and there was a grocery store and it was fantastic. On the grocery store, it's got the entrance that on both sides, 20 feet of billboard. They got a lot of events going on there, but plastered with flyers and posters. And you're like, this says something about the community. So we actually have, and we don't have to work with Parks and Recreation or find, if we want to use that space, but there is a place where we could. Well, that's probably not whether, we have to find a place, but I think that would be a great project, and that could be an arts project as well as a communication project. All right, so we gotta move on to our next piece, which is murals, which is related to this, because this is the thing that people are grabbing hold of and going, yeah, something's happening here, and I can be a part of it. Yeah. So John, let me turn it over to you, and I'm gonna make you I can't remember what the title is of this, but I'm gonna make you something special. If I can figure out how to do it.
Sounds good to me.
Oh, here it is.
You were
Let's see.
already something special.
Oh, touch my heart.
You don't need me for that. Yeah.
All right.
John Merle, and I'm making you a co-host.
All right. How do I get it so people can see me? I'm still seeing the go outside screen. Yeah.
Now you
Okay.
got it.
Cool. Okay. Well, can everybody hear me? Good.
Yep.
Okay. Good. All right. Well, for those who don't know me, I'm John. I am a muralist in residence with the city. And I was tasked this past year with trying to grow murals, not just my own, but in our communities. And I want to show you kind of some of the background behind some of that, some of the evidence that that's hopefully been working, some of which is sitting in the room with you right now. Rachel Ann crushed her mural not too long ago, so she's amazing and is one of the prime examples of how this can be successful. So I want to go ahead and share my screen here in a moment. If you just bear with me while I do that. And then at the end, I'd be glad to, take any questions about murals. I know a few of you guys had already mentioned that. We can chat a little bit more as a group. Okay. All right. And you guys should be seeing me or my screen now, hopefully. Cross my fingers. Is it sharing?
It looks like it's thinking a little bit, but it's going to. So is everything on your screen? Yeah. So we're probably seeing the same thing you're seeing.
the ever annoying buffering.
Yeah, that's what we're
Okay,
saying.
well, that's great. All right. Well, that's not awesome. Let me try this again. Sorry. I apologize for the inconvenience. Let's see if it works. Okay. Well, that could put a damper in this, Doug.
Well, it might just take a second.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well,
And we could, and you know, if we need to push to another week, we can do that too. If we have a
okay.
John.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure entirely why that is doing that. Let me try one more time. Sorry, guys. Murals, as you know, are kind of a visual thing, so I think we're going to need to see a little bit of it to understand it. So yeah, let me try this one more time.
And I know John was working on a presentation, and if it's something you can email me, I could pull it up, but if it's, you know, in your Apple, it's
Yeah,
photos.
it's in my it's a photo album that I created.
Yeah.
Well, what?
Oh, here it is. What do I see now? I'm seeing something.
Yeah, that's working, I think.
It looks high tech. I guess because it's on the dark screen.
Yeah. Can you guys see my screen now?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, we can see your screen, yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Can you guys see this? My nice pixelated photo?
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. So, one thing that kind of kickstarted the whole residency was the work I did on a few projects with communities. We called them community painting days, and this was one of the larger ones out at River's Edge North last year. Some of you guys might have even participated in that, painted alongside me. And so this kind of started the process within myself to want to do more of this. I know that everyone involved walked away with a sense of ownership and excitement and really enjoyed being a part of it. And so projects like these were something I wanted to kind of emulate a bit. I think the cool thing with public art is, like I was saying a little bit ago, it's very tangible. Shailene, I like what you said. You called it ecosystem for the arts. So I know this is a small part of that ecosystem, but it is visual evidence, you know, which sometimes is a conversation starter for the whole ecosystem. And I think that's, you know, an amazing thing and a real responsibility that we have as public artists. Another thing I'm going to touch on tonight is public art's not just murals. You know, there's so many different forms of it. That's something we're trying to integrate. I'd love to integrate more this upcoming year as well into the residency. So yeah, I want to just kind of touch on our model here as well, being a model for Roanoke and not trying to look exclusively at another city. There are a lot of cities that have amazing murals, really great climates for murals, amazing professional muralists. But not every city is doing what we're doing. And I think finding our own footing in our own specific way is a really exciting thing. So taking projects like this and kind of folding it into, you know, smaller projects, but projects that are touching very specific neighborhoods and communities. You know, that's the initiative, right? The initiative we're trying to make possible is connecting neighborhoods, connecting artists to their neighborhoods. And if that's public art and I have a hand in that, great. If it's another neighborhood and it's a totally different type of dynamic that's not public art, you know, it's great as well. It takes a village. And so here we see, you know, one of the 3 projects under the residency this past year, and this is in Southeast Roanoke. Some of you guys were actually out there celebrating with us a week ago, out there at Lab Sports right near Chris's Custard. And, you know, this project also is an example of public art that's not purely a mural in terms of a painting sense. We invited or connected a few different artists, Stephen Paul, Gretchen, and Nicole Gray as well. And Gretchen and Stephen are mosaic artists. So this was one of the first collaborations I've seen, maybe I'm mistaken, but one of the first I've seen in the area that's had a collaboration within a mural of media. And I think that's really exciting. I know that Doug touched on the potential for sculpture in the future. We want to see this. We want to see creative license being taken in painting, but also in other medias too. And so, Steve and Nicole to be able to, add in their own touches and flair, but in different media is really exciting. Again, Roanoke, we're in such a great circumstance where we can connect neighbors like we've been talking about, and they did that here. My kind of goal with connecting artists to their neighborhoods and then helping find the walls for those artists is so that experiences like this can happen. People in the area love art, but they also deserve to connect to the public art that's around them. Now, that's not every mural, but it can be a lot of them. And in murals, experiences like this, I call them experiences, it's fantastic to see, community members painting alongside artists, learning from artists. Here's a mosaic workshop taking place as well. And I think probably half the people in this meeting right now are like, man, I would have liked to have been at that mosaic workshop and learn a little bit about mosaics. So, these are really exciting experiences for the community. And the community actually got to do their own fish to be adhered to the mural. And you can see them, within the mural there at the bottom as well. So engagement, connecting the artists, Steve had done a lot of work within Southeast. Nicole had painted alongside myself on murals in Southeast before. So they are community members, plockers, people that work alongside Sunny, as well in Southeast, that are bringing meaningful artwork. We're not doing artwork right now that's incredibly moving it or deep in terms of like a social context, but we are, touching the society. And I think that is just as important. So so that is one of the examples that I wanted to share with you guys. We celebrated last week. And these projects, they take a while to put together. I always tell people a mural takes 6 months. Even if you're only painting for 2 or 3 weeks, it takes 6 months to connect everything, to get it set up. And I think everyone involved, this was a really positive experience. So I wanted to start off with this one just because this one was completed. We've had the celebration, we've had that closure with the neighborhood. And we have 2 more to chat about as well. So this is one of the 3. The second one, Rachel Ann in the room. I wanted to talk about Rachel Ann for a second, and artists like Rachel Ann that are out and about and in our communities, hustling and bustling, showing their artwork to a variety of people that may not be going out for a night that they're interested in chatting about art or looking at art, but they see artists that are local that are doing creative things, and it inspires them. And I got that, vibe from Rachel Ann years back when we connected through the arts, and I felt like Rachel Ann would do a fantastic job as a muralist. So we converted her, right? You've been converted, at least to an extent. So Rachel Ann led a project out at the West End Center for Youth out off Patterson Avenue. And Patterson Avenue in this organization, reaches a lot of our kids, our youth, this side specifically our teenagers. And this is right on their basketball court. So Rachel Ann was dodging basketballs out there, trying to paint. And and it's fantastic. I drove by and stalked the project from time to time, and seeing kids be able to come up and help, kind of almost like a stop-in, like an art stop-in, hey, come up, help for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, go back to your activity. That's really cool. And it's great for them to see, artists practicing professionally, right there. So we don't know what impact that had on the kids, but it did liven their space, it brightened their space. Rachel Ann's artwork is so vibrant, on such a small scale. It's amazing to see it on a large scale as well. And I went out to take a few photos today, and unfortunately, this might have been the worst day of the year to take photos. So I don't have the whole piece, but you can see how it wraps the building. This is right on the courts, and just creates the energy and the vibe I think that West End Center was looking for, to inspire their youth. So Rachel Ann, well done. And before I move on, do you have anything you want to say about the project?
Yeah, it's very exciting. I had a lot of fun getting to interact with the kids and like having them interact with the work. I remember going out there the first like couple of days and they were all very curious. Like, I don't know, I feel like kids at that age are not super engaged. They're not super interested in being engaged, but a lot of them were very curious about me and they're like, oh, what are you gonna paint? And I'd like show them the pictures and they're like, oh, that's tough. Like they just thought it was gonna look cool. So it was very humbling. It took a lot of work and yeah, I'm really excited with how it turned out and I hope that it inspires the kids for years to come. So
Yeah, I think from everybody I've spoken to in the West End Center, I know a few of the employees over there as well, and they were really excited about it, and they said the kids love it too. So projects like these, can take a lot of different directions, but it's exciting to see that this one touched the youth, and I think that this is a great Kickstarter for more projects with youth. I love to see, this upcoming year to, emulate this, to get the youth involved as well in painting. And for year one, Rachel and I couldn't ask for a better artist to work with. So kudos to you. You crushed it. All right, so let me move on to the third of the projects. And before I do, we will be setting up mural dedications and celebrations within this project at the West End Center and within the next project as well. So be on the lookout for those here in the coming weeks. We'll probably be celebrating those in October. And that'd be great to see Rachel Ann in her element alongside the kids. So as artists in residence, if you can make it, it makes a lot of difference. Here's the third project. A lot of you guys have probably seen this alongside Melrose turning into Orange Avenue, right there near the highway. This is the YMCA at Gainsborough, as you can see. And this was a project that I was approached by the director, Jonathan Pate, a few years back. And, he had given me a really lengthy walkthrough on the history of the building. And, murals can tell a story. So, Rachel Ann's brightening the space, making things beautiful and exciting and vibrant. Very different experience from this, which is, educating people on the history. You can be vibrant while doing that, but here we are touching on the history of the building. And when Jonathan walked me through that, I felt like this is an amazing story, but it wasn't mine to tell. And so I decided that, looking at this, we needed, and the project needed, artists that were really connected to the Northwest neighborhood, because that's what, this residency is about. It's about connecting, artists to their neighborhoods. And so we see here the artists that, I connected with Jonathan over there were Bryce Cobbs and Cameron Stallings. And Bryce has been a practicing artist in Northwest, for the past, 8 to 10 years. Cameron actually works, a quarter of a mile away at Lucy Addison, and, helped out with the design process as well, engaged his students as well throughout the design process. And they decided to take on this great undertaking, really. This is a highly visible wall. When you tell a story in a mural, you really have to know your facts. You have to come at it from a point of integrity. And I think these guys, really hit it off with each other. They formed a friendship over the arts, and we want to see that as well. And the artwork you can see, and if Bryce was here, I would have him speak a little bit more on that. But it does connect to different members of the community. They had women's clubs, men's clubs, historians. Obviously, you can see the dates that are woven through the mural on the ribbon, the street signs. They had a fathers and sons club that would meet there for years and years as well. So really beautiful, the story that they told. Bryce designed most of this as well. And I couldn't be more thrilled, to see them, in the media, on the news, talking about the history of the building. We're going to try to get community members from the Gainesboro YMCA to come out during the dedication and tell some stories about the building as well this October. We'd love to connect with a few other artists and residents on that too. So be on the lookout, if you want to message me or email me with any ideas on, these celebrations. I'm all ears. I want to put together the specialist type of, or the most special experience possible. So really great project, exciting project for Northwest and Gainesboro. And, these guys were awesome to work with from day one. So, I know Bryce and Cameron aren't on the call right now, but well done to them. And I'm sure you'll hopefully see them at the celebration. And I'll round us off with a few others, different ways that we're connecting to these walls. Here's James Divers. He just did a piece over on 11th and Mormon in Northwest as well. This was directed under a few other artists and residents. I know that Jane Gabrielle, Polly Branch over there, you guys play such a role for that community within the arts and the centers you're opening, and to be able to turn spaces. You guys aren't looking at what the wall looked like before this. To be able to turn spaces like this into something beautiful. So James actually is a photographer, and he does wheat paste installations. And so he photographed members of the community, youth of the community, and rendered his design to paste on the building. And, I can't speak too much on their project because I'm not the person to tell that. But I can say that it is really a visual improvement of that area. They had a celebration not long ago as well. And Northwest is really getting some love. So, being able to see tangible evidence of artists that want to invest in the community is amazing. And James has done a fantastic job there. You can also see some of his wheat paste renderings as well here, touching on different stories. Here we have the volunteer rescue squad, the first all-Black volunteer rescue squad in the nation, and his renderings from photographs that he has found, looked up, and given, and will translate that to the wall through his wheat paste technique. It's really exciting. And so for artists like James, doing different things, that can be a really amazing thing for our community to have that kind of eclectic nature of public art. So we're seeing that, and we're also seeing artwork on the greenways. And again, I'll take questions at the end, but artwork on the greenways. This is Katrina Leggins, her rendering. This is Grow with Love, and she's been connecting with community members over there in Northwest. They just had a big Okra Fest as well. A lot of energy over there on the 10th Street Lick Run underpass on the Greenway. And so you can see hers is another community project, painting alongside little ones there. She had big ones too, but little ones there. Is really exciting. And she's in the middle of the process there to work on this rendering. And you can see she's even incorporating quotes from community members, and there's going to be little Easter eggs along the way. So be on the lookout for that. Katrina is going to be painting that for the next few weeks as well. And then again, with the Greenways Initiative, I actually had a project myself. And we had community members just at the Walnut Bridge. And we're going to have a giant celebration out there on the 27th. I'll be sending out invites to everybody, so don't miss it. This is right near Blue Cow Ice Cream. So I had the opportunity to design this piece and paint alongside the community. Jane actually came out and did her kindness rocks or kindness stones activity while we were painting river rocks. And I got to educate the community on how to blend paints in a mural. So that was really cool. So many groups. We had over 50 volunteers from the neighborhood right over there in Riverland. And it was amazing, to be able to connect with that community, all ages as well. So positive. We had a great time. Old, young, everybody. And we created a fantastic piece of art. This one's titled Lady of the River. This is a friend of mine that lives in that neighborhood. And you can see me up here covered in paint on the ladder. And here's the finished piece as well. So again, we're getting some beautiful work along our greenways. Katrina and myself, we're hoping to see more of that in the coming years, but trying to spread out the artwork. It'd be great to see, public art dive into different facets of our community. So seeing pieces like this, the Lady of the River and what Katrina's doing to complement the work we have on our streets in our city, and seeing that on the greenway is really exciting. So and we're seeing that as well. I put this one in here. This is a community project I just did in Craig. So just to kind of close, we're seeing these community projects that we're doing and we're starting in Roanoke actually being emulated in other areas now, which is so cool. So it's not just we're reaching our hometown, our community, but we're reaching other communities as well. So I wanted to leave you guys with that. I think that's really positive to see that. I think that's incredibly encouraging to see that other communities see us as a model for building communities within our neighborhoods, in these experiences. So that's where we're at right now in the mural public art game. All right.
Man, that was helpful because so much has been going on and so much thought has gone into this. Well, let's see if we have some comments or questions from anybody. And Joy said in the chat, this is also inspiring. Thank you so much. Yeah. And any other thoughts or questions?
I kind of want to leave a turn, but I guess I'll go.
Yeah.
It's all a really cool way to use the space. I think I caught some of the progress on a recent trip to Blue Cow Ice Cream. I'm interested in, there's something I noticed when I was most recently in St. Petersburg, Florida, and what they've done to kind of draw attention to the mural projects they've been doing. And I don't know if there's a version of this to consider, but just the example I'm going to speak to is in the little white metal bunkers that all of their farmers market vendors have as stalls.
Oh, yeah.
When they're closed up, there's a decal of a photograph of those murals with the address of where you can find the full mural there. I don't know if there's like, it'd be cool, like if you show up in Roanoke and you're like, oh, there's one here, and then there's like a directory of where they all are. But it's so cool, it'd be a shame to miss any of them.
Yeah, I on the pier, they've got the.
On the pier.
Yeah,
That's where they have the pictures of this one's up on 24th Street or whatever.
Yeah, I took some pictures of that. I think that's a great opportunity. And we do, on Thursday, we're gonna have Art by Bus launch, where we had a writer ride the bus and she's done a chapbook of her poetry. And on the cover of that is Ray Cass's untitled abstract that hangs in Municipal North. And we do we wrap the bus, part of the bus in that image. And we do that to promote the public art program. So there's no reason, and it's not that expensive to do it. So we could do things like on the back of the buses, have an image of the mural and just where you find it. So on the bus, we can do it in other places we have access to. We can do digital promotions that way too. But I think the vinyl wrap is pretty easy to do. It's not that expensive and it's changeable. So I think there's great opportunity for that. And we haven't even scratched the surface on promotion, creating the energy around it. You know, John, do you have any more thoughts about that? I can pull up, we did have an intern this year work on we have everything on a website, so I can pull that up. But while I'm doing that, John, do you have any thoughts on promotion and aggregation?
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of doing QR codes. I think that's something that we're trying to kind of align, is this network that we can connect all these murals together with. That's starting with that website, you know, that Doug's been talking about. One thing that I would love to see is a map that's more available, and just like a very simplistic map that people can, you know, use online. I love print too, so you know, printing out maps would be cool as well. But yeah, I think that's great. I think that the interesting thing about public art is that it's always growing, and so who knows what that map can look like in a couple years. But starting it off, I think, is something that the city started to do. But again, you know, things like the "It's Here," you know, the "It's Here" push right now, like that's a great way to even connect some of this to that too, to be able to get the word out and spread people around, because there's a lot of murals and public artwork that people don't even know about. I went into this website, you know, and this is what I do for a living, and I went into this website and I found pieces I was like, I didn't even know that existed, you know. So that's really cool and exciting. So I think that to be able to use this as a catalyst for maybe greater things as well, and maps and resources, is a great idea.
And we just did this summer, and it's already out of date, because we got new murals put on there. Thanks a lot, Rachel Ann. And so yeah, we do have, so Sierra Civ, she's a recent graduate from Holland, and we worked with her this summer as an intern. And she went through here and went through and aggregated both interior and exterior murals. So like there's one Catherine Devine did. We've got ones that are there's a newer one of John's on there. So these are all on this website. She has also done a Google map. So I've got a Google map that's got them all listed on there too. And I think there's a real role for that. This system, which we also have you know, it's embedded in our website, but it's a separate system for organizing collections. And we have all the murals in there, but we also have all of our permanent collection. And so you can go there and find the 170, 180, maybe over 200 pieces now that are in our permanent collection, either two-dimensional inside or sculpture outside. Additionally, anytime, like we just took down the portrait project, and we do the portrait project and these temporary shows. We just opened the cover story show last night. We do these in order to bring people in the municipal building and do something positive in the city hall. And while we don't have these images anymore, we're also doing permanent online exhibitions. So any artist who's in one of the shows, when you Google them, and this is all really good, searchable, when you Google them, it'll come up, and we can have the artist's website on there. So even if we don't have it in the permanent collection, but we've worked with the artist at one point, it will always be they'll always be on our artist list. And we just see this as one more way to promote our artists. So now with that mural, like Rachel Ann will be on this website listing artists in Roanoke. Now we have an artist directory that Virginia's Blue Ridge runs, and Brett Legoo, who's often on these calls, he'll be on next week with Cheryl Morales from Visit Virginia's Blue Ridge. And we're trying to figure out how to get more artists on that artist directory so they're findable. It is a community asset. And again, we're doing this as a community. And we're going to see how far we get with that. At the same time, we're going to do everything we can to promote artists using Visit Virginia's Blue Ridge, but also using whatever resources we have ourselves. But we do want you to know about their artist directory. And right now, that the plan is for that It's Here site to point to that artist directory. And if it works for us, that would be great. We'll keep doing it. If not, we'll figure something else out. But murals are just one piece of this. But it's a great example. I have got to thank John for his leadership throughout this process. I think I've got to send out a better invitation for everybody to make sure they're coming on these calls. We've got the recording. We had a thank you all for being here tonight. You're leaders in this effort, and we're gonna keep advancing it. Watch for the invitation to participate at GoFest, and we're gonna have a lot of fun doing that. I'm working with Shalene and I had a lot of fun out there the other night at the symphony. I'm just talking about the catalog. But we're going to be out there promoting our catalog artists, our artists in residence, our organizations, really our community, and with an open invitation for people to be part of this, to be part of, creating the place we want to be right here in Roanoke every day. And I also want to thank Aaron and Sunny for all the work they've been doing on pulling together this strategy. And I'm not joking when I say it has been at least 15 years that we've been trying to do something like this. So thank you. All right, anything else before we close up shop?
Thank you for pulling us together, Doug.
All right, thank you, Sunny. Appreciate you.
You too.
All right, everybody.
Hey, Doug. Hey, Doug,
Yeah.
there's some stuff in the chat. There's a question,
Oh.
Holly Branch. Whose email?
Okay, let's go here from the top. Okay, Joy said, I think it would be really cool to have musicians, singers, other performers, especially those who engage people to sing along while the murals are being painted and or at the celebration too. And I completely agree. We haven't talked about this, but it would be a best practice for us to, as we do a visual project, to weave in a performance aspect. And always remind people that it's not about the one thing. Additionally, before the event John helped set up in at Southeast, Sunny and I Heart Southeast, they always do flocking. And we did it before the sculpture dedication earlier this year in February, and we did it the other night. And they had like 40 people picking up trash just prior to the dedication. And that is a terrific thing too. And it feels great. And then, when you go over and look at, when you look at any of the murals that we do, we've got to look around the space around. If there's trash on the ground and we've got a brand new mural that's painted, we failed. And I know that trash is going to come back, and it's a constant battle. But as when we're dedicating a mural, we should at least have the trash up off the ground when we're dedicating the mural. Let's see here. And Polly said, whose email should we use to send? Okay, so I'm going to be a main point for that. And you can drop things off here in this office. Shalene's going to have some folks dropping things off in her office, but I know you know where to find me. So go ahead, feel free to send me an electronic thing. I will print it out here. Yeah, Sonny, don't tell Mark I'm gonna print it out here. No, I'm just kidding. I'm allowed to print it out here. We'll print the flyers out here, and we'll get them plastered on that board and able to hand out to people as they come by the GoFest booth.
And hey, Doug, it's Shalene. We'll have the sign up sheet, the Google form, volunteer sign up for you to distribute to this listserv as well. So that'll be coming in the next few days.
Excellent. And Shalene, am I right when I say, once the sign up fills up, would also invite people to swing by and say hi and connect?
Absolutely. The more the merrier. I think we actually increased the number of people. So it's up to like six volunteers, each 2 hours, block. And please come. There's no cap. But
It's
for the
gonna
sake
be-
of official signups, there will be. So see it coming. There are plenty of spaces, plenty of spaces left. So excited.
Excellent. It's here, the Arts and Culture Party tent at GoFest. Yeah, is that it? Hooray. Well, let's see, let me see if there's anything else. Oh, I think Polly,
I'd like
got
to-
one more thing?
Yeah, just one more thing real quick. On Saturday is International Day of Peace, which is an annual event recognized by the United Nations, September 21st each year. And the Bridge Institute at the corner of Grandin and Memorial in Heights Church, Community Church, and the courtyard where you might have seen some of us drumming on Thursdays is where it will be held on Saturday between 10 and 3. They have some things planned, some art participatory activities, and then Joy and I checked in with her recently, and she's up for some improv happenings. Is that a good way to say it, Joy?
Yeah. It's I've gotten into planning things last minute, so something will happen at some point there.
And I just
Well-
want to say one more thing, that the Bridge Institute is a source of education and training for mediation, conflict resolution, listening skills, which I believe is a real foundational part of what we're all doing and want to have background in as we interact with one another in different groups and in the Valley.
Yeah, definitely. We should invite them in at some point and do a little overview of what they do and do an activity with us perhaps. And we should keep them posted on the Story Circle training that we're gonna start coming up this fall. And I will say that there's plenty of time in the day Saturday to make it by both the Bridge event, the International Day of Peace, and the Henry Street Festival down in Elmwood Park. And then also plug Karina and Shalene and Joy and let's see anybody else here. Well, we were in a meeting the other day and we started it with a little bit of circle singing led by Joy, and it was terrific. It was a great way to start the meeting. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. With that, everybody, have a fantastic night. Bye. And let's see. Where's it? I guess I have to make it bigger to make that button pop up. Maybe that's it. Oh, there it is. Paul shit. Oh, no. Stop share.
Yeah.
Now there's my button.